He never imagined that the worst day of his life would quietly set up the moment that would redefine everything, because when Daniel walked out of the glass building with a cardboard box in his arms and his final paycheck folded like an apology in his pocket, he wasn't thinking about destiny, justice, or miracles. He was thinking about how to explain to his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, that the fridge would be emptier this week and the rent would be late again. Daniel had given that company 6 years of his life, showing up early, leaving late, never calling in sick, even after his wife died and the world became something he had to hold together with duct tape and love. But the new CEO, Victoria Hale, didn't know any of that when she fired him in a 10-minute meeting that was colder than the rain pouring outside, citing restructuring and cost efficiency without once meeting his eyes. Victoria was known for that: sharp, efficient, untouchable, a woman who had climbed her way to the top by never slowing down, never looking back, and never letting emotion interfere with results. And as Daniel stepped onto the sidewalk that night, rain soaking his jacket and his box collapsing at the bottom, he didn't curse her or wish her harm. He just bowed his head and whispered a promise to Lily that things would somehow be okay. 2 weeks later, fate crossed its arms and waited at a dimly lit intersection, because Daniel, now working nights as a delivery driver, saw a luxury car swerve violently, smash into a barrier, and flip onto its side, steam hissing and alarms screaming into the dark. And without thinking, because that's what fathers do when life trains them to react, Daniel pulled over, ran toward the wreckage, and shattered the window with his elbow, ignoring the pain slicing through his skin. And when he dragged the unconscious woman free just moments before the engine burst into flames, he didn't recognize her until the firelight illuminated her face and he realized the woman gasping for air in his arms was Victoria Hale, the same boss who had fired him without a second thought. The irony hit him later, but in that moment, all he did was press his jacket against her bleeding forehead and tell her to stay awake, his voice steady the way it had been the night Lily was born and the night his wife slipped away forever. Victoria woke up in the hospital days later with fractures, burns, and a head full of fog, but one detail was painfully clear: the man who saved her life had a familiar face, and when she asked for him by name, the nurses were surprised she knew it, because Daniel hadn't left his number or waited for thanks. He had gone back to work, back to survival, back to being invisible. Yet Victoria insisted, and when they finally stood in the same room again, something in her cracked, because for the first time since becoming CEO, she wasn't looking down at an employee, she was looking at the men who had pulled her back from death. She learned everything that day, about Lily, about the nights Daniel skipped dinner so his daughter wouldn't notice the shortage, about the way he never once blamed her for firing him, and the guilt hit harder than the crash ever did, because Victoria realized she had built her success by reducing people to numbers, never seeing the human cost. And now the men she had erased had proven her life was worth saving even when she hadn't believed his job was worth keeping. What she did next shocked the entire company, because Victoria didn't just offer Daniel his job back, she resigned temporarily, restructured the company from the ground up, and created a leadership initiative centered on empathy, flexibility, and real human value, publicly crediting a single father who reminded me what leadership actually means. And when Daniel returned, it wasn't as a subordinate but as a partner, helping design programs that supported parents, caregivers, and employees who were one crisis away from collapse. Their lives changed in quieter ways too. Victoria started visiting Lily's school fundraisers anonymously, Daniel stopped measuring his worth by fear and exhaustion, and both of them learned that strength didn't come from control but from compassion. The story spread, not because it was dramatic, but because it was true, and people recognized themselves in it: the fired worker, the overworked leader, the parent just trying to hold on. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that kindness can rewrite endings and that one decision can change everything, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because stories like these aren't just entertainment, they're reminders that even in the hardest moments, humanity still has the power to save us all.